Hello, it's me, Miss Bentley, and here's the deal. I wanted to make a video directly for children and all about Bibles. And here's the thing, I work with a lot of kids, and a pretty common question is, Miss Bentley, how do I read the Bible as a child? Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to get into it. I don't know what's a good Bible for me, etc, etc, etc. So that's what this video is going to be all about. I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet and give you a lot of different information and hacks and things. So first of all, I have 4 different Bibles with me today. And the first one is just a small little New Testament only Bible. And these are often like little giveaways. And the print is so tiny. And it's just the New Testament. So it's just Matthew through Revelation in these. They're really tiny. They can fit in your pocket unless you have a girl pocket, and then nothing fits in those pockets. But it's only the New Testament typically. You can sometimes get a New Testament one and an Old Testament, but usually they only do one or the other. They're super small, super thin, and they're very tiny. There are a lot of times they'll come in like little boxes, and they'll be considered like your first little New Testament Bible. Super great, very dependable. You can bring them with you everywhere. But like I said, it's only half of the Bible. Then you have something like this, which is Bible stories. So these, I mean, this is a really old Bible, but it's in no particular order, and it's just a bunch of Bible stories. This one has a few pictures. Like I said, it's really old. So older depictions, but it's really good. It has Bible stories, and it includes Bible references to tell you where you can find it, so that you can up here, so that you can read the Bible story and then go and actually reference it in the Bible. And then you have a Bible like this, where it's a Bible storybook. So basically, let's open to the beginning of the page. It tells you the title of the story, where to find it in the Bible, and then it tells you the story with pictures that go along, so that you're still getting the Bible stories, but it's a little more story-like rather than maybe necessarily how it's told chronologically and word for word in the actual Bible. I don't know if you can hear my son in the background. He's super happy right now. And then this is like a storybook picture Bible. And then you have something that looks a little bit more like an adult Bible. This was my Bible when I was a kid. I got it when I got saved. And my parents even got my name put in it. And it's a Precious Moments Bible. Let me just tell you, I love Precious Moments Bibles. They're wonderful. And as you can tell, like, I have some wear and tear on this Bible because I used it all the time. And it has, you know, your typical writings. And then every now and then has, I have notes in here, some pictures, and then a little, like, almost an excerpt. And it talks to you a little bit. And then there's like a, hey, did you know this about the Bible type thing? So now that you know some different types of kiddo Bibles, I want to, I even wrote my name and drew a flower on the top. And then I wrote Holy Bible on the side. And I have sticky notes and all sorts of things. Something I do recommend for a children's Bible, find one that, like, if you're talking about like a Bible like this, when it's time to move into like an actual Bible, find one that has like a glossary or a word list or an index or something like that, so that they can help. It helps with pronunciation. It helps with like the history behind it. Super great. And it also tells you where those words are found all throughout the Bible. Love that. So now that you know some different types of Bibles, let's talk about how to read the Bible. So let's say you're just interested and you just want to, okay, we're going to start right here. I'm in Isaiah chapter 46 and 47. So how do I know that? Miss Bentley, how do I know? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to find the book of the Bible. Hang on. I'm just going to let all my things fall out. You're going to find the book of the Bible is going to be up at the top. The chapter number is going to be a really big bolded print. And then your verse numbers are going to be so tiny down here on the side. And each verse, at least in this Bible, not all Bibles, each verse is on a new line. Some Bibles, it's just continuous. So it'll be verse 6, and then halfway through is verse 7, and then 7, 7, 7, and then 8, and then 9, and it goes on. But it's always going to be in chronological order. So big number is chapter, little number is verse. The book of the Bible is going to be at the top. So it's just like you would in a normal book. You find the book you want, any of them, Genesis through Revelation, and then you, oh my goodness, I just flipped to Isaiah 39. And then you find the chapter based on the big bold number, and then the verse on the little tiny number. So let's talk about the table of contents. Now, as a young elementary school age child, I wrote read daily as like a little reminder to myself, which, I mean, let's be real, that's kind of nice. So here is what we call the table of contents, and it's separated by the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Old Testament comes first in the Bible, and then the New Testament. My Bible has some other things, message to parents, your word list, and some other things here. But this part right here and this part right here are what we're going to focus on, the Old and the New Testament. And this is where it tells you the book of the Bible, and then what page you're going to find it on. The book of the Bible, and then you follow the dots over, and then what page you're going to find it on. So let's do Micah, for example. Micah, and we're going to follow all the way over to page 1001, okay? So now we're going to flip. My page numbers are in the top middle right here. I'm going to flip all the way to page 1000. Oh, went a little too far. 1001. And I found Micah. It tells me Micah in big all capital letters. Oh, look, there's even a picture over here. Big all capital letters. And now I know that Micah starts in chapter 1 with a big bold 1, and it starts in verse 1. Here's the thing. Most Bible books don't have a verse number 1 number, but it always starts with verse number 1. So Micah chapter 1, verse 1 starts here, and then verse 2 is going to be right here. You see that tiny, tiny 2? There you go. So we just found Micah chapter 1, verse 1, verse 2, and it continues on and on and on. And then you flip your page like you would any regular book, and you keep on reading. Chapters are your big, bold numbers. Verses are your small, tiny numbers. But, Miss Bentley, when somebody says, can you find Micah 1:4? What does that mean? I just lost. Or let's say, Miss Bentley, what if somebody says, find Proverbs 22:9? I don't know what those numbers are. That's a great question. So this is how it will always go. The book of the Bible first, Proverbs, then the chapter, the big bold number, chapter 22, and then what did we say, verse 9? And then it's going to be the little 9. So it's going to go from biggest to smallest. The big book of the Bible, and then a big number, the chapter, and then a little verse number, okay? So it's going to get from biggest to smallest. So book of the Bible, chapter, verse. Big, bold, all caps, book of the Bible, big, bold, chapter number, little tiny verse number, okay? And if you think about it like that, the chapter holds all the verses for the chapter, so it's got to be really big to hold all those verses. And then the verse is just a few sentences, maybe even only a few words, and that's the whole verse. So you're going to have a big, big book title, Proverbs, then you're going to have a big bolded chapter number, 22, and then you're going to have a little tiny verse number, verse 9. And this is how it works for everything, okay? So every single book of the Bible, all 66 of them, you're going to find the book title, the book name up here, Daniel, chapter 11, verse 7, over here, okay? And then for Bibles like this that have multiple columns, you're going to do just like we do when we read in English, left to right. We read all of this column first, then we move on to this column, all of this column, then all of this column, then all of this column, okay? So we do one column at a time. We don't read straight across. We read one column, then the next column, then the next column, and then the last column. And then we flip the page, and we start all over, okay? And that is how we find what we're looking for in the Bible. We use the table of contents in the very beginning to find where our book of the Bible is located, what page number. Then we find the big bold number, which is the chapter number. And then we find the little tiny number, which is the verse number. And then we start reading. But Miss Bentley, where do I know where to read? What do I read first? That's a great question. And that's something I recommend using a book like this. You either read stories that you're familiar with so that you can learn more about them, because there's always something more we can learn from Bible stories. Even I learn things from Bible stories that I've heard 100 times. So you can use something like this and you say, oh, I want to know more about the story of the sun stopped shining. The crucifixion from Matthew chapter 27, Mark chapter 15, Luke chapter 23, and John chapter 19. So this Bible story is found in 4 different places, and it tells us where all 4 of those places are. So then we grab this Bible and we flip to Matthew chapter 27, and we read Matthew chapter 27, and we know this whole story. Isn't that so awesome? Or what you can do, you can flip to, I know you can just flip to a random page if you want to, but some that I highly recommend is the Book of Proverbs. There are 31 Proverbs, which means you could read 1 proverb a day. You could read 1 chapter of Proverbs every single day of the month, and you get through an entire book of the Bible in a month. Or you can read Psalms. There are a ton of Psalms. I think there's 150 if I remember correctly. And they're like little songs. So here's a psalm. That's really short, right? And then here's another psalm. And here's another psalm. So that's pretty reasonable and realistic, right? Or you could read the Book of John, which is what we tell teenagers and adults usually to start with, just because it's a really good foundation. Or you know what you can also do? Like any book you would pick up. Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. The very beginning of the Bible. And it literally says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. What better place to start in a Bible, in a book, than the very beginning? And you start here and you just slowly make your way through the whole book. You're going to read it in biblical order from Genesis to Revelation. There is a Bible that does it in chronological order, which is kind of interesting too. It's called His Story. Something else I want to point out. Miss Bentley, my words are red. What does that mean? And it's not in the whole Bible. Okay? It's disregard all my notes and stuff. It's not in the whole Bible, but there are sections where there are red words. What does that mean? Great question. The red words mean it is the words of Jesus. Not all Bibles have Jesus's words in red, but some Bibles do, and that's just so awesome. And I think that you should try to look for a Bible that does have the red lettering for the words that Jesus spoke, because I just think that's such a cool addition to have, so that you are 100% aware. There's no confusion about it. This is what Jesus said, and I just think that's so awesome. So now that you know what some different kind of kiddo Bibles there are, how to find the book, the chapter, and the verse, and you have some ideas of where to start reading, I can't wait to hear where you start reading, what you learn from the Bible, because it's so awesome and it is so full of stories and adventures and scary things and happy things and babies and animals and fire and trees and water and all sorts of things. I can't wait to hear what you enjoy reading most in the Bible. I hope this helped you. I hope you are excited to get into your Bible. If you don't have a Bible, reach out to somebody. Somebody would love to get you a Bible. I can just guarantee it, because there's nothing better than having your own Bible, one that you can write notes in and highlight in and just make your own, because this is one of the biggest ways that God talks to you, and you want to make sure that you can hear from Him. So get yourself a Bible. There are several different kinds. Doesn't matter, as long as you're hearing the truth of Jesus Christ. That's what matters. Can't wait to see you again when we talk about something else super exciting. I hope you have a great day today, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.